let's hop into some updates with the fall, because I mean we saw a pretty good market pullback and correction in the summertime. Last time when did we talk
Yeah.
last? Was it May or June?
June, yeah.
Yeah, so that was right around the time that we had Elon Musk make his tweet and piss off a bunch of people, and there was some other catalysts that made the entire market correct, and we saw $28,000 and change Bitcoin. All the altcoins pulled back, and all the smart guys in your course, myself included, made a whole bunch of money scooping up the right one. So what happened and where are things going? And by the way, guys, their course is open again. I'm going to drop the link in the YouTube chat. Let me just pin it up to the top, and it's also going to be in the description. Actually, wait, before you ask that question, I have another question for you. One of the things that drives me bonkers on YouTube is whenever we do a collab, I feel like I'm playing whack-a-mole for like the next 24 hours, deleting like these fake spam comments from guys with like WhatsApp links. Hey, it's Rich Cooper, or they use like a version of like my channel name, and they try to drive people off to like scams and stuff. How do you get rid of that?
You can't. So this is me on my channel every day. I spend about 15 minutes a day cleaning up my YouTube comment section, which is first thing you can do is you can press report to YouTube, right? Yeah. And then you do that.
They just pop up another account then.
They'll pop up another account. So I've gotten like they make Cultivate Crypto, and then they have Cultivate Crypto with umlauts on it, and then different asterisks within there and everything. Eventually, then they run out of. It seems like they run out of options and they change to something else. And so then I get different ones. But yeah, literally every day I'm just like, it's whack.
No, what?
Hitting them.
I'm just going to make it simple. I'm just going to disable comments after the video on this video, so I don't have to deal with that nonsense. Anyway, so
happens to every crypto video.
I don't know how you guys put up with that. It's just absurd.
We can't. Right, I mean, there's so much, and that's what we also tell people in the course, how to notice what scams are, how to avoid them, humans are usually the weakest link, right? People falling for that type of stuff. So it seems obvious to a lot of people, but for some people, I have met a handful of people who fall for the send me one Bitcoin, I give you two back scam. Right. And they send a small amount first, like $500, they give you $1,000 back, and then you send $10,000 and you never see it again.
Yeah, we could do an entire 3-hour episode on all the scams out there. But I mean, if you understand basic email phishing scams and stuff like that, then you should be smart enough to pick up on them. Let's set that aside. So what happened with the markets, and where do you guys see things going right now for the fall markets? Because we're in September 3rd right now as we're casting this today.
Yeah, there's a few different takes on it. Miguel, do you want to go from your angle in terms of what was happening in June, July?
Yeah, basically it was sort of I would say it's more of it was a coordinated attack in a way, trying to flood us down. I was more just kind of like, I was really taken back by some of the influencers in the space, how every single major influencer on YouTube to Twitter went pretty much negative on crypto. And then me and Charlie were pretty much the only people out here saying that
the only bulls left.
The only bulls left.
Every bears everywhere.
But we were just saying that like this market's not over. There are so many things happening next year that it's not over. Like just about every single exchange in North America, Canada and the United States, is going public next year. Gemini, Kraken, FTX, FTX USA, Binance USA, BlockFi, Celsius. I mean, just any company that's essentially can prove they have some revenue and stuff, they're going public next year. Just off of that, you have enough firecrackers there to push us well above 6 figures on BTC. But in terms of what we expect this year, we're expecting, to crack over $100,000 on BTC
in December.
Yeah.
And then also to kind of add to that, there's one thing that we talk about in the course that is still relatively underground here in crypto. There's a few people that talk about it, but really only like 1 or 2 major people that are discussing this, which is on-chain data. That's the data that you can look at on the Bitcoin blockchain. Like how many wallets are there active that have over 1,000 Bitcoin in them? How many wallets, are there in general? Like how are they moving? How long have people been holding these wallets, like without spending their Bitcoin and stuff like this? With all that data, what it basically tells you is the people with over 1,000 Bitcoin, the whales, the people who have a lot of money in this market, and they're relatively newer people to the space. Those people plus the people who've been in crypto for what we call like long-term hodlers. Both of those people from February through April, May, were it's not a coordinated sell-off, but it was like when you shear the sheep without slaughtering the sheep, right? There's a consistent taking a profit before the rest of the market. And that's why when you look at the chart, like Bitcoin is going up, then up a little bit less, but still up, still new high, but a little bit less. Right. And then it lost momentum and went down. And then when it did go down, right, talking about June and July, May, June, July, basically there was an over amount of too much leverage in the system, basically too many people trading on margin. And so when you have that and you get a flush out of margin, basically the 1 or 2 weeks of red candles on Bitcoin in May or mid-April, and then with Ethereum in May was a flushing out of all of that leverage trading. And when you get the smart money, you get the people who are trading a lot, the whales, right? They tend to leverage up because that's what they do in the traditional markets as well. And so pushes up prices higher, but also pushes down prices higher. So you get this kind of like pretty intense whipsaw effect. But then once that's done, then you get a time of intense accumulation. You also saw that on on-chain data. We talked about that actually in our Q3 course. We had a whole webinar of why the bull market's not over, based solely on on-chain data with our friend Plan C. And that was a fantastic webinar. He's going to do 2 more webinars in our next course here for Q4.
What's Plan C?
He's a guy who talks heavily about Celsius as an exchange, but then also he joins us on Moon Gang from time to time, the show that we have on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And so we'll be having that on this Sunday as well at 10 p.m. Eastern. If people want to come over to Cultivate Crypto on YouTube to watch that. Super smart dude. He's basically a data analyst. He's very driven by data. And so he just delves into the on-chain data and says, what kind of story can we find of what's happening in the background based on this? So you can look at the fundamentals as Miguel talked about. You can look at the technicals on the chart like I talk about, and then you can look at the on-chain data. There's another form of analysis called chain analysis, which you can also use to look at different transactions, what's happening. But you put all these things together, and you get a really good idea of what's actually happening in the market, which is much more transparent than Wall Street, right? With Wall Street, they can play a lot more tricks and do a lot more underhanded deals in the background that you'll never see in public. Maybe it gets rumored, but people like Elizabeth Warren says, we have shadowy super quarters here in crypto and nobody understands really what's happening here. You have so much, dark web stuff happening. It's like BS. Everything here is the most transparent. I want to say another word, part of, I don't want to do that, but basically, everything's transparent. It's all in the blockchain. We can see exactly what's happening, and we can make good guesstimations based on what we see happening on what is actually going to happen in the market in the future. And what this is telling us right now is, and John was saying this on his channel, right? We have the infrastructure bill coming out here for vote by September 27th. We also have, if you look at the charts, a cycle low coming into the mid-September. Those two price events where the price comes down a little bit is a fantastic dip opportunity, but you're going to get a lot of people screaming bloody murder saying, oh my God, this is a bull trap. We're going down to zero. And that's the best time to buy. And so we're going to be talking about that in the course, telling people, how to be doing this. It's not financial advice. It's just our opinion. But, we've been doing this for a whole calendar year here. This is our 1-year anniversary of the Crypto Mindset course. So we want to make sure to take care of everybody here in Q4 and give as much value as you can. So $897 for this course is an absolute steal.
It is a steal. And there was a lot of guys.
Plus.
Yeah, dude, because there was a lot of guys, before I do all the updates and the thumbnail on it. Because what I do is I create the event and it just pops up, and I have to make some updates and tick boxes to set it up for the stream. One of the things I do is members only chat. There was a bunch of guys in the chat before, I updated. They were all like, this is awesome. I've made a ton of money. Like there was at least 4 or 5. I should have screenshotted them, before I did the update. But I started looking at your material about a year ago around the time that you guys first launched the course. And we've talked before. Like I know that, you guys started casting this from John's little shitty closet apartment with like the blanket hanging off the wall, sharing the microphone.
2 dudes, 1 mic.
What was it? Yeah, it was like 2 dudes, 1 mic, like what, 3 or 4 years ago or something like that? Maybe 3 years ago?
2019, February 13th was our first show. Bitcoin was $3,600.
Yeah, I feel like it was so long ago, man. And it
does feel like it. Yeah.
At that time, I was like, yeah, I'm starting to come around, right? And that's when I first started to buy some Bitcoin. You were the first guy
that came on our show that was willing to like stoop down to the, the level of us at the time,
well, in fairness, like I started hearing about this stuff back in 2012 and 13 when I was having lunch with my buddy Amir, and he's like, yeah, I'm going all in on the blockchain. I'm like, are you, what? Like, are you crazy? Like they're going to shut this thing down. And it took me about, I was 5 or 6 years, behind him, but it took me a while to figure it out. And the truth of the matter is the vast majority of the population still is not involved in the cryptocurrency market. I think that what is it? Like something like 1 or 2% of the world population has a wallet.
Yep. And also it does, like, you're right. It is an extremely hard industry to find good information on. Like, we
Yeah.
search around YouTube all the time. That was the whole point of us starting the Tokyo Crypto Show, and then also my channel, and then also DCC's channel. The whole point of it is, let's give the market real unbiased information. YouTube's not going to promote us in the algorithm. We're going to have a slow time gaining users, but we're going to, you know, basically give people the real information, what's happening in the market, so they can make money. And if that happens, you can actually give people real value. Then, you know, that's how we have the Moon Gang so strong. We have a lot of people who have literally changed their lives. We have people considering, you know, giving up their corporate job and renouncing their U.S. citizenship if they've done the course for about 6 months to a year. They're starting to talk about those things. We're like, hold your horses, guys. Hold your horses a little bit. Keep that cash flow going. We'll talk about multiple streams of income in the course and stuff like that. But it's really awesome to see, you know, and a lot of people who come from your community who've joined the course, they pick up on it a lot quicker than I think a lot of other people. It usually takes about 4 years to get up to speed in the cryptocurrency space. We do this within 2 weeks of the webinars, but then obviously that's the first initial portion where maybe somebody catches about 20 to 30% of the information that's in the course. And then we say, do that over spaced repetition, you know, make a schedule for you to review these webinars over the quarter or over the next 6 months. Which, I mean, is how people learn. It's like learning a new language. And within 6 months, you basically can, you know, plug yourself into the matrix of crypto enough to understand 4 to 5 years worth of data and information that we're giving you here. And so that's a huge speed, you know, like forward for most people, because if they try to do it on their own, they take in a lot of shitty information. You know, they're going to make mistakes regardless, but at least, you know, we tell them how to limit those mistakes as well. And they tend to do a lot better. I was talking with a kid who I think is in his mid to late 20s. Won't say too many details, but I just talked to him the other day. He's made $400,000 this year just by taking the course. He's probably spent maybe max $2,000 to $3,000 on our services.